Hey guys, thank you so much for catching the recording and for Kayla for making it live tonight. I appreciate it. But this is call 3 of our Shooting Stars group. And tonight we're just going to be chatting about lessons 15 through 21. And kind of like we did last week, I'm just going to give a brief overview or description on the last lessons that we've got here. Sorry, I've got a little dog at the door. I'm making sure he doesn't sneak in here and eat something like paper. And then if we have any questions or anything, we'll ask them then. If not, we're just going to move on. If you are catching the recording, feel free to post your questions in the comments of this post. I will have where the recording is. Or start a whole new comment with any concerns or questions on a specific lesson. And so let's just go ahead and start. Lesson 15 is the power of challenge groups. And this was Natalie's video. And really, the challenge group is probably what brought all of you into coaching, to be quite honest. But that's truly what being a coach is all about, is helping people reach their health and fitness goals to become a better them. And she listed 5 tips as far as to really rock out a challenge group and things to keep in mind when you're planning a challenge group. Some people may not call them challenge groups. You may have heard accountability group. You may use an online support group. Those are really interchangeable, and that's kind of at your discretion as far as how you feel would better serve your customer as far as the description of what we offer. I know some people think that a challenge group sounds intimidating, and that's why they use support group or accountability group. But in the video, she says, number 1, use a list. It kind of tells you that month who you want to invite, or on the other end of that, you can go back and see when you did invite a specific person. The next thing is, what type of group do you want to run? Is it program specific? Is it a general group? Is it a free group? Is it a Shakeology group? Is it a Beachbody on demand group where it's kind of free, but they're getting to do the Beachbody workouts on demand with that free 30 days? And how are you going to run them? Are you going to run them through a Facebook group? Are you going to run them through the Challenge Tracker app? Are you going to be the only coach leading that group? Or are you going to be co-coaching? Tip number 3 is inviting. A lot of people, when they start, are kind of hesitant to do the private invitation or the one-on-one invitation. They feel more comfortable doing a Facebook post with a like or comment. I will tell you guys that Facebook is recognizing that network marketers are doing that, so you will not get as much exposure as you would by sending a text, sending an email, sending a Facebook message, or asking in person. So don't just use that to utilize an invite. Those kind of general posts. Send out personal invitations, or you can even use an event invitation too. That's kind of a new thing. If you have any questions on that, definitely ask myself or Angie. We can walk you through that. It's really, really simple. And then keep your groups creative. Whether it's theme days, or I know I've heard some people say, like on Tuesday, announce that Wednesday is Wacky Wednesday and wear something wacky when you work out or something. So remember to keep it creative so that your participants are continuing to be engaged in the group. And then number 5, remember that a challenge group is a springboard to bring in coaches. And most of us are coaches because we love the products, we've seen results, we have health and fitness goals that we're finally putting as a priority in our life. So remember that when you're inviting to your challenge group or when you're working with your challengers. That's really, oh, the dog is crying at the door now. Go lay down, Rudy. Sorry. Did you have any questions about that, Kayla?
Nope. I think we covered 15 a little bit last week. So I took some notes on that last week.
Sure. And again, like, challenge groups seem very overwhelming when you first start. I know that for me, it wasn't so much a challenge group. It was more a free group that was very overwhelming. But I felt like I was putting more into my free groups than my challenge groups. And you want it to be the other way around. But you definitely want to stay engaged, be the example in those groups, and really check in with your challengers to make sure there's not anything additional that you can do to help them, because a lot of times they're not going to ask. And lesson 16 was Courtney, and Courtney is a huge positive light in the SoulFit team. And a lot of times when we're not inviting people to our challenge groups, it's because we're scared that someone's going to say no, or someone's going to challenge what we're telling them to be true. And whether that's if Shakeology is good, or if Shakeology is too expensive, or I don't need to work out at home. A workout that's done at home isn't a real workout. I know that I have gotten that from people that are in the fitness industry. They don't think that they can get a good workout in 30 minutes, and that's just not true. So when people do come back at you with objections, whether it be time, money, legitimacy, just be honest first and foremost. Don't fill their head with what they want. You think they want to hear, empathize. Not everyone's ready. And offer a compromise, whether it be your next free group or sending them a Shakeology sample, point out the benefits to try to overcome those hesitations, and then ask if you can follow up. So really just jump right in. It's kind of what we all are doing, every single day, is we're just facing our fear and jumping into the lion's den and hoping that people can see what we already know to be true. Did you have any questions about that, Kayla, or any of those that you want to talk about that have concerned you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
So then the next one is the power of personal development. Guys, we have talked about this when we talked about the 4 vital behaviors, when we talked about the team calls and the national wake-up calls. And ultimately, what I'm going to say about that is you as a coach are giving so much to other people, whether that be your team, whether that be your challengers. If you're a mom, you've been giving to your family. If you work, you've been giving to your company. If you volunteer, the list is endless of all of the ways that you are giving yourself to other people. And now by taking this coaching opportunity on and, grabbing the bull by the horns, you will find times where those efforts, if they're not met by your challengers or by your coaches, it can feel like you're banging your head against the wall. And your cup can start to be empty and dry and crusty, and you've just got to fill that cup right back up. And personal development is the way to do it. So personal development, you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to books via Audible, you can read a book. You don't have to have a bunch of money to buy books. You can go to the library. That's what I do. And then our team calls and the national wake-up call, if you are doing those already on a regular basis or you're catching the replays on those, I encourage you to do more than that. And I will tell you, I've fought PD for a long time. And when I finally accepted that I needed to read some personal development, it did make a significant impact, not so much on my business, but just the way that I was approaching my life and how I was allowing other people to dictate the way I felt about myself. So I'm not really going to spend much more time on that unless, Kayla, you have any more questions.
Is the National Wake Up Call every Monday?
It is every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will tell you, if you're catching the podcast of that, you can fast forward like through the recognition. It's generally 30 to 40 minutes. So it's shorter than our team calls typically are. But
and our Soulfit calls are every third Tuesday, right?
First and third Tuesday.
First and third.
Yes, that is changing starting next month. And Erica and then her upline Erin, they're combining. So you'll see more faces on those calls than you were previously on the Soulfit calls, because we're essentially doubling the amount of people that typically come together to these calls. So our upline team calls, again, like Kayla said, the first and third Tuesday of every month at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. National Wake Up Call every Monday. The phone number is the same every time. You can also access the recordings to that in the Coach Online office on that homepage over to the, what is that? The right. I forgot my right and my left. But yeah, those things count as personal development too, because they're helping you not only personally, but with your business. And I would encourage you, though, to not pigeonhole yourself in the type of personal development that you're reading or listening to. It could be business related. It could be religious based. It could be the old standby self-help book that's going to help you grow as a person. But I will say, if you start reading a book and it's a struggle to get through it, put it down and just move on. Because if it's not speaking to you, you're not going to read it. You're not going to get anything out of it. Just move on to the next one. And really all you need is 15 minutes a day. Doing more than that is only going to help. But if you're finding that you're making excuses like I did, like, oh God, I don't have time to read. But hey, give me the new 50 Shades book and that's done in 3 days. But I can argue that that is also personal development. That helps my marriage, right? I don't know. But 15 minutes, you can definitely do that. That's a couple pages or a chapter. And then the next lesson was lesson 18, and that's time management. And I was fully expecting this video, which is hilarious, to be long-winded. And I thought it was going to be the complete opposite of having good time management, but it was only about 3.5 minutes. So I was pleasantly surprised. But kind of like we talk about in our challenge groups with your workout time, to pencil it in or schedule it. And that's the same that goes with your business, whether that be in pockets of time or one continuous hour. Just treat your business like a business and you will be rewarded as such. And what should you be doing during those things? When you're working your business, rather, whether it be the power hour, the pockets of time, posting on your Facebook page, interacting in your challenge groups, checking the team page or your Coach Online office to make sure that you're not missing any exciting news bulletins. It sounds funny to say. Feels very 70s news bulletin. And then doing your personal development, as we just talked about. Then the next one really is within those times when you're working your business. We've had a couple different things come out. The first way of kind of organizing your power hour was called the Power of Threes. And now there is a new organization of time or kind of ways to segment what you're doing. And that's the daily fours. Ultimately, regardless of which one of these two formats that you're utilizing, what you're doing within those is connecting with people you already know, inviting to challenge groups or free groups or to the coaching opportunity, following up with people that you've previously invited, mentoring your coaches, and then adding friends, adding new people to your network. I think I can speak for Angie on this, where if you're not adding people to your network, you're going to run out of people quickly. And she and I have both kind of run into that, I feel like, recently, where we've reached out to everyone that we know or to people that have reached out to us, and we're now going back to them. This is maybe the third time. But you will run out of people. So you've got to keep adding friends to Facebook or talking to people at the store or at your kids' events or at school or at work, whatever it is that you do outside of your home, and talking about it. It's when someone asks you what you do, you should say you're a Beachbody coach, and be prepared for them to ask, what is that? Your excitement will come through in your voice, and they'll want to join you. 19, I'm kind of piggybacking these together, is again talking about the tracking system. And this video was very, very long. In that video, they talk about what each of those categories of the power of threes is. And this training was set up and created when we only had the power of threes. And really the difference between the power of threes and the daily fours is reminding you as a coach to continue building and educating and supporting your coaches. Once people sign up as a coach, I mean, you guys know, it doesn't mean you automatically know everything all of a sudden. You're scared. You are sometimes confused. If you are finally like putting your big girl panties on or eating that frog and sending out personal invitations, people are going to ask you questions that you may not know the answer to. And that's scary. So remember where you were when you started as a coach, and continue building your relationship with even your VIP coaches, because they came to you for a reason. And even if they've met their goals, they're still drinking Shakeology. And although they're maintaining, we can all fall off the wagon very easily. And that's what took us so long to even get here, probably. I know for me it is. So continue building that relationship and offering them resources and reaching out to them, because they may not reach out to you, but they still need you. I know a really good thing that they talked about in the video was the LCQ, the like, comment, and question. And that kind of goes under the connecting. And I think in the power of threes, it's called message, maybe not connect. I should have gotten that out. I don't remember.
That's correct.
So that can all go underneath that category. And that's probably what you're doing every single day anyways, when you're just scrolling through your Facebook. You're liking your friends' stuff. You're commenting about how their kids are adorable. Or like I saw Kayla's kids this morning, both playing in the kitchen, the play kitchen, and talking on the video. So, engage in people's lives. So comment on that, and then question. So if you posted something and you're getting a lot of encouragement, when you're responding to those comments, ask people about their life or ask people about how their journey is going. People get tired of hearing about you, and it's not about us. It's about them. And when when Angie and I reached out to you guys, it was because we believed in you and we wanted to help you and have you join us. And that's really all that you're doing, is showing a ton of love to all of your friends. And even if they are cold market people that you've never met, they need love too. And that's going to prevent you from feeling kind of apprehensive about sending a personal invite if you already know what's going on in their life and you're not just being a total creeper and cold calling essentially with the group invitations. Did you have any questions on that, Kayla? I know you were in a group where you were having to check in with your daily fours. Do you like how that's organized? Have you looked at the Power of Threes to compare the two?
I've only really used the daily 4. I just downloaded the daily 3 and printed off a sheet, so I'm going to test it out and see which one I like better.
Yeah. I am not fancy. So if I were Iggy Azalea, my song would be, I'm not fancy, because these colors distract me. Like, it's too pretty. I don't know what it is. So I really encourage you, and Kayla, you're doing the exact right thing. You're just seeing what works best for you. And I have tried to start using the daily 4 sheet to track who I am contacting, and it just doesn't work for me. I don't really know why. So I encourage for you guys to look at both of those and figure out which one works best for you in your life and your sanity. And you might find you don't like them at all and you want to create your own sheet, and that's absolutely fine too. You might just have people in an Excel spreadsheet with the months across the top and color coded or whatever you want to do, and that's perfectly fine. But having some sort of tracking system, which Natalie kind of talked about in the Power of Challenge groups, is going to help you in the future. I will say, if you're using Facebook, a really neat thing that you can do, I think Messenger pulls them up now too, but if you've had previous conversations with these people, and you can't exactly remember when or what they said, you can go to their page and then click on message, and it will pull up that past message history, so you don't feel silly if you didn't remember. You know, the last two, 20 and 21, 20 is just motivation. Why are you here? What are your dreams? I know that the True Fit leaders, we had a call on Monday and we really talked about this. And at Summit, they really, I think it was in one of the smaller workshops, they were talking about tangible goals. So what goals do you have? Have you even set goals? Why are you here? Are you dreaming big or are you dreaming small? Let's dream big. You know, Walt Disney, I think it was, said, if you can dream it, you can do it. And you absolutely can. And the thing that is incredible, once you're a part of the Beachbody community, you see people like Coach Tulin Embry, where she was living in her car. Her and her husband and their 2 kids were living in their car. And she decided to go for it. And now, like, she is a plus size model for Beachbody, and the plus size, I shouldn't say athletic, but apparel, that's her. She has short, dark hair. Her husband has a disease where she sometimes has to take care of him. He was recently in the hospital. So when you think, oh, well, she became a coach 2 or 3 years ago, or that girl is a fitness instructor, or this chick is already skinny, or this girl has 10,000 friends, or just stop. You know, this is about what your goals are and how you can help other people, not how can you make yourself feel like crap, you know, because we've been doing that our whole lives, you know, but it is possible. So if your goal is to be a millionaire and walk across that stage as a millionaire, like Julie Voris did for the first time last year, then do it. Write it down. Your success, though, is a choice. You can't just say, oh, man, I'm sitting back here. I'm going to kick up my legs. I want to be a millionaire Beachbody coach. All these people are going to come and flock to me. Well, they probably aren't. And even the top coaches send out invitations. They may not at this point because they have figured out how to tap into their cold market, but they all started where we did. And the first of every month, they start at SC0, just like everybody else. So your success really is a choice. You choose to be a product of the product. You choose to lift people up. You choose to hold yourself accountable. You choose to invite people to the coaching opportunity. You choose to show up to these calls. You choose to take advantage of the resources that your coaches or your upline teams are putting at your fingertips. You are going to get out what you put into it. So again, if I'm sitting here with my feet kicked back, having that goal on my wall of being a millionaire, well, that's great, but that's not a goal. That's a wish. You can get down on your knees and pray every night, but you can also do that to win the lottery, and you see how that's really helped people. So, this is an incredible opportunity, but you do have to do some work. So I'm not a preacher, so I'm going to stop there. And Kayla, did you have any questions or anything you want to add for the 20 and 21?
I don't have any questions. The only thing I could add is just don't give up and just stay motivated. It gets hard. It gets discouraging when you send out invitation after invitation and you just get silence back. You just have to keep going and know that you're doing the right thing and what's best for you and your business and your ultimate goal.
Yep. I will say, guys, that when you get crickets like that, it is kind of scary and you feel like that's immediate rejection, especially if you sent that message and then all of a sudden it says seen at the time. And you're like, oh shit, they're reading my message. What's going to happen? You wait for those dots to come up, right? Or the do-do-do, like that they're typing, and it doesn't happen. And then they never get back to you. And then you're like, what? I'm not going to follow up. They saw that immediately and they totally ignored me. Think of all the times when something has come across your phone and you want to see what that person has to say, but you don't have time to message them back. Don't feel like you're being pushy by following up. There are some really good scripts and even personal development book lists in the SoulFit files in the group there. And just start out by saying, hey girl, I know that you are so busy, but I just wanted to make sure that you didn't miss out on this opportunity and see if you had any questions or wanted to join me. That's it. But with those invitations too, even the follow-ups, any type of correspondence, you're wanting to end that correspondence with a question or a reason for them to continue having the conversation with you. And that's something that you start to get used to. You may not find that you're doing that at first. And if your first message doesn't have the question, just do it again, add on to it. It's scary, but don't be scared. Do not be scared. Oh, Siri thinks I'm talking to him. He said he thought so. Okay. Yeah, I have the man voice option for Siri. So, well, I think that's all that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording again. Thank you, Kayla, for joining me tonight. And thank you all for catching the recording. Angie and I are going to get together and see, now that we've gone through the SoulFit pace training, kind of how we want this group to go going forward. We love being able to combine our two teams to kind of expand the energy and the people that you're able to meet and bounce things off of, or gain positive energy or momentum from. So stay tuned as far as what we're going to do with this group, but we're so glad that you're here, and don't ever hesitate to ask us if you have any questions. So thanks for joining us. Bye.